Ever since the early 1900s, cars have played a huge part in the average American's life. Since then, many places in the country have become dependent on people owning a car. Following World War II came a boom in suburban-style cities, packing residential areas together miles away from places of work and stores. Environmentally, it's among the worst trends to hit this country. I mean, look at these ugly-ass cities. Anyway, with necessity comes passion, and people have always been looking for ways to make their cars perform better, look better, or even just to make theirs unique. But I'm not going to go through the American car scene throughout the years. I'll save that for another video. Today, I'm going to talk about the ins and outs of the car scene today. Even if you know nothing about it, you're always welcome to join and learn. And my god, where do we start? There's just so much variety in car enthusiasts in this country. Maybe you've heard in history class that America is one big melting pot, and it's really no joke when it comes to preferences and styles of cars. You got everything from classic muscle-loving boomers to JDM sad boys to lowriders from the hood. All jokes, I love you all. I'll try to dissect each type of car enthusiast here. First and foremost, we have the JDM lovers. JDM refers to Japanese domestic market cars, or stuff that was available only in Japan, but most people in this category will accept Japanese cars that were sold in the US too. JDM classic fans mostly like Japanese rides from the 80s to early 2000s, like the Toyota Supra, Nissan GTR, or even a Suzuki Cappuccino. And many are fans of the modern cars too, like the new GR Toyotas or Honda Civics. These guys will modify the fuck out of their cars, putting body kits, lights, anime titty wraps, and lowered suspension to really make their car one of a kind. There's been some haze recently in this community though about some people getting in on JDM cars for the trend so that they can get some clout on the gram and TikTok. And I have to agree, some people are doing it literally just for internet clout and to look trendy as opposed to actually having a passion for these cars. They're also the reason cool Japanese cars are skyrocketing in value recently. I could go on for hours and hours about my hatred for modern social media. Next, we have the classic muscle guys. This category is mostly full of the older guys, but I've seen some young fellas joining in on this too. Their main cars will be Camaros, Mustangs, Chargers, Corvettes, or even some discontinued brands like AMC Javelins or Oldsmobile 442s, among many other classics. What's pretty popular in this scene is purists, or people who want to keep their car in pristine condition without modifying them at all, which is fine. You can appreciate a badass car without changing anything about it. Tons of people modify them to their liking too though. Some choose to modernize their look, some modify theirs using period correct mods, and some decide to go absolutely all out and build insanely fast drag cars. And I'm here for each one of those styles, they're awesome. Sharing some overlap in population with the American muscle guys, there's hot rodders. These guys are perhaps the wildest of them all. They take cars with this distinct type of styling, strip them down, lower them, and put big freaking engines in them. They'll usually use really old cars as their project, sometimes even a flippin' Model T, the daddy itself of American cars. These hot rods are synonymous with flames on the side as well as rustic types of styling. These guys are also called rat rods, slammed straight to the ground, made intentionally rusty, and stripped with big old V8s in them. Back in the 50s, you could see greaser type of fellows rocking these type of cars. Next, we have lowriders. Not everyone's favorite, but they have a strong community. These guys take American classics like the Caprice and Impala and give them a custom paint job, put it on small wheels, put them on hydraulic suspension, allowing them to bounce these fuckers around. It's awesome. So hell, some people even turn trucks into lowriders and put the bed on hydraulics. They make the bed lift up out of place and dance around and spin in goddamn circles like a fucking helicopter. It's really a magnificent sight, you gotta see it in person honestly. It's super popular among the Hispanic and African American crowd, and it's often cited in 90s West Coast rap. It's a pretty show-offy type of style, but I respect that shit. I think it's really cool the stuff these guys do, but it's not the type of stuff that I'm particularly interested in. Next, we have the performer. I'm using this category for everyone who builds their cars to regularly utilize tracks, whether that be guys who drift, track race, drag race, or even rally. These guys can be pros or amateurs and perform with all sorts of stuff. JDM, classics, supercars, you name it. They focus on using their cars for their intended purpose in a legal way, that is. Pretty cool guys who build performance-oriented cars. Not necessarily in it for the looks, but that's okay if their car can win it on the track. And there's supercar guys. We all love supercars, but I think this is a rather small community, and the main reason for that would be the barrier to entry. I mean, supercars are expensive, man. Not too many people can afford a flashy Lambo, the latest Ferrari, or an affluent Pagani. I've had the pleasure of meeting a couple of these supercar owners / lovers, and I must say, they're really chill people. You might have a bad impression of these folks, cause rich people bad. But truth be told, the ones who truly do love their cars are super nice, super supportive, great people. I can't say the same for the people who get these cars as a status symbol and nothing more. Next, there's a collector. I got mixed feelings about these guys. They'll buy up lots of cars they're interested in and take great care of them. They could be after all sorts of cars, especially the rare and quirky ones, or they might be interested in only a certain type. See, my problem is the ones who keep their cars stashed away in a garage for their entire life. I mean, cars are meant to be driven, not sitting in a warehouse collecting dust. I'm proud of them for preserving these babies, but for the love of fuck, drive them once in a while at least. There's a saying that goes something like, not driving your car to keep the miles low for the next owner is like not fucking your girlfriend so she's a virgin for the next guy. Even Jay Leno, the guy with the collection of around 300 cars and motorcycles, drives all his vehicles. Unfortunately, I read the day I wrote this that he got burnt in a car fire. I hope he recovers well. I dream to have as many cars as him one day. Then there's the people I like to call the loyalists. These are the type to stick with one car for their entire life. Whether it be the exact model or just a brand in general, that's their thing. Usually it's with weird, obscure cars too, like the Saturn Ion or Renault Twingo. I got a grudge against Saturn Ions, to be honest, because one of them almost totaled my Camaro. I swear, 90% of the people who drive Saturns are old people who don't know how to drive. The loyalist will probably have a backyard packed with their machine of choice, and most of them are probably going to be non-running projects. They're also probably one of the top people to go to buy parts off of on the Facebook group. And that seems to be about all the categories I can think of, but there's so many smaller niche ones, and hell, you can be in multiple categories, or even all of them if you want. There's no rules as to what you can like in America. And no matter what category you fall into, most people love going out and doing something to enjoy their passion for cars. Whether that be hanging out with friends at a garage as he tries to swap an engine at by sunrise, or racing on the highway, we all love to do something to get out of the house. And there's always tons of events to look forward to. For example, one way people can get together is car meets, also sometimes called park and chill meets. If you thought GTA 5 car meets were fun, wait till you get out and experience the real thing. There's a lot less explosions. These are by far my favorite events. Someone throws a post up on social media and shows a date, time, location, and magically, people come out of the woodwork to hang out. It's awesome seeing a bunch of people with the same interest put shit like this together on the fly. They usually happen on evenings at some parking lot. In some cases, it's like a weekly thing at the same spot. Everyone just picks a spot to park and checks out other people's cars and meets new friends and hangs out with old friends. And I can tell you, the vibes at some of these meets are fucking immaculate. You'll get to know all your local cars and car guys. There's music, sometimes dancing, people just enjoying their lives with their friends in a parking lot surrounded by cool cars. Everyone is a friend at these events. You haven't lived until you've been to a good meet like this. And depending on the location, the cops might be cool with it. Sometimes they'll kick you out, in which case you'll just go to a next meeting location, but there's a lot of times where if everyone's behaving, they'll just take a look around and make sure everything's all good. I mean, shit, sometimes they even park up and enjoy the meet with everyone else. Then there's car shows. Keep in mind these aren't the same thing as meets. These are usually official events at an approved location on the weekend. This could be something big like SEMA, Ford Nationals, or just some smaller local show. This one seems to be more popular with the older crowd and tends to bring out classics, muscle cars, even supercars as opposed to JDM cars most of the time, but the variety is still huge. There's usually a charge to enter and bigger charge to show your car, but by God is it worth it. The event will have a bunch of sponsors, vendors, food, music, etc. It's a great time. A lot of the time the hosts will give out awards like best paint or best in class or something like that. That's where these guys get all the trophies that they show off in their windows. I grew up going to a few of these as a kid. Perhaps that's what sparked my interest in cars early on. Cars and coffee events are similar to car meets in that they take place in some random parking lot. They'll be on the weekends in the morning, and sometimes they're sponsored like by a local coffee shop or something. And this event is exactly what it sounds like. There's cars and there's coffee. Since there's usually no charge to enter, it brings out everyone, and I mean everybody. All sorts of people of all ages and walks of life come to these events and have a great time. I personally haven't been to many of these just because I'm not a morning person at all. You couldn't drag me out of bed early enough. This next one, oh boy, we all knew this one was coming. Takeovers. This is the one that gives us park and chill guys a bad name. This is basically the type of unofficial event where people get together at some location and do dumb shit, mostly involving burnouts, donuts, fireworks, at a parking lot or intersection. Donuts are cool and all, but don't be doing them out in public like that. These things are fucking downright dangerous for people. Lots of times you have someone who thinks they know what they're doing, but then they do a donut straight into a crowd, and God forbid you accidentally hit somebody else's car, because then the whole crowd will swarm you to attack you and your car. This is where those videos come from, where somebody's hanging out the window of a car doing donuts, and then they fall out and get run over. Then if these guys get caught by the cops, there's serious charges involved. Like, I just don't even understand how it's worth it. There's usually a lot of police evasion going on here too, and if cops bust a spot, they just move on to the next and keep on doing it. This type of event is sadly rampant where I live in New Jersey. Again, this is why people don't like car guys. I don't condone this type of shit. Another one, and I feel like this one's a little less common, but this event is called a cruise. These are fun, a bunch of car guys just meet up somewhere, take a nice easy ride to another location. This can be a ride to a restaurant where everyone will hang out afterwards, or just a scenic drive on some back roads to enjoy some cars and some views. Super chill events, love going to these. Finally, there's a track day. There's all sorts of stuff you can do at an official track. There's good old-fashioned track racing, drag racing, even drifting events. Finally, a legal way to push your car to its limits and really enjoy all that horsepower. Everyone is welcome to some of these, and for others, some are just for pros. I think the better ones are the ones where anyone can enter into an event, even if you're a beginner and you want to see how fast your mom's Honda Odyssey can go on a drag strip. It's really fun seeing how your ride stacks up against all the other sorts of cars, and it's always a friendly environment. Even if you're not testing your own car, watching others push their cars is fun too. There's so much to do in the world of cars, and there's so many different types of people in the scene in America. The main downside is really the legality of some aspects. Like setting up a car meet in a place that won't kick you out can be kinda hard, and a lot of modifications are illegal too. You can get fined for having tinted windows or loud exhaust depending on where you live. California seems to be one of the toughest states for that type of thing, which sucks because California might be the single place where there are the most car lovers. It's huge there. That being said, we're still everywhere. You'll have no problem finding a car event in the vast majority of cities from LA to New York to Atlanta and even up north towards Michigan. Just watch out for the potholes and rust as you get further north. So yeah, there's some issues we have to deal with as car enthusiasts, but honestly, we Americans are pretty lucky. The sky is the limit, boys. The United States is the single best country to enjoy our cars in. We have the most lenient laws for our modifications, our roads are fun to travel, and we have one of the most vast selections of vehicles to choose from. Sure, we can't import the latest JDM machines for 25 years, and sure, the cops might get a little bit upset if your car is too loud, but at the end of the day, we're better off than the rest of the world overall. I'm glad we're not in India where the roads suck balls and modifying your car in any way is super illegal. Being a car guy here is truly beautiful, and hey, if you're new to the car world, welcome. Don't hesitate to go out and check out your local events. You'll meet lots of cool people and be introduced into an amazing lifestyle. I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about cars, and I had fun making this. I will see you all later.